Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. My name is Muhammad Arslan and my enrollment number is 17 NTU 1138. I am student of BS Computer Sciences morning 6th semester. So let's get started with our topic. So guys, today the topic I am going to describe you is jQuery methods. So let's continue to our presentation. So the topic we are going to discuss in today's presentation are what is jQuery and some jQuery methods like jQuery getScript method, jQuery getJSON method, jQuery get method, jQuery load method, and in the last jQuery serialized method. So first of all, we will talk about jQuery.
What is jQuery? jQuery is a JavaScript library with motto do more, write less, and is designed to simplify HTML DOM tree traversal and manipulation, as well as event handling, CSS animation, and Ajax. So guys, here are some interesting facts about jQuery. jQuery is an open source software using permissive MIT license. And jQuery is used by 73% of 10 million most popular websites. jQuery is the most widely deployed JavaScript library by a large margin. So guys, let's start with our next section in which we will discuss about some jQuery methods like we have discussed earlier. So first of all, we will discuss about a jQuery method which is called jQuery.getScript method. In this method, we will load and execute a JavaScript file using an HTTP GET request. This method returns XML HTTP request object. So here is the syntax of this method: $dot getScript, and in parentheses we will write the URL on which the request is sent, and there is a callback method. This optional parameter represents a function to be executed whenever the data is loaded successfully. So, in the next slide, we will discuss about the example of this method. So guys, in this example, we will assume that a JavaScript file, like here we have imported a file which contains a function which is check.js here, and it will produce an alert which will return this is JavaScript. So let's start implementing this example. First of all, we will start our HTML with HTML start tag, and in the head section we will import jQuery from Google CDN here, and we will access our jQuery with script tag. And in this tag, this is the basic syntax of jQuery, in which $document.getReady function, and here we will access the tab with id driver, and on click function an event will be generated which will implement our method $.get javascript, and it is the URL result.js, and it will start this function into JD. It is the custom call of the function defined in the script, and after that we will start our function check.js. So guys, this is our head section. In this slide we will continue with our body. So first of all, there is a paragraph in which there is written, click on the button to load result.js file. We will see the animation or the image in the next slide. And there is a division with the id tag, and its style or background is cc0. And there is a input with the button id driver, like we have discussed in the previous slide, and it will load the data. So this is our HTML, and we will see this implementation in the next slide. So here is our output. Whenever we will click on this load data button, this will pop up, and in which this is written, this is JavaScript. As we know that we have produced an alert here. So guys, this is our JavaScript jQuery.getScript method. So let's talk about some other jQuery methods. Same as earlier. In this slide, we will discuss about jQuery.getJSON method. In this method, we will load the JSON data from the server using a getHTTP request. This method also returns XML HTTP request object. So here is the syntax of this method, $.getJSON, and here is the URL or our file, and this is the data and the callback. URL as a string containing URL to which request is sent, and in data this is an optional parameter which represents key value pair that will be sent to the server, and in the callback method we will use this optional parameter which will represent a function to be executed whenever the data is loaded successfully. So in the next slide we will discuss about this example. In this example, we will assume that our JSON content file in result.json contains name, age and sex. So here is a script in which we will access driver on click function event, and after that we will implement over this method like $.getJSON, result.json and the function jd we have produced, and here are some optional parameters of this method. So guys, so here is the output of this method. Whenever we will click the load data, it will fetch the data from our JSON file and it will show us name Zara Ali, age 67 or a sex female. So let's discuss our another example. Here in jQuery.load method, this method load data from the server and places returned HTML into matched element. Here is the simple syntax from this method, selector like $.load URL data and callback. Here is the description of the parameter used by this method. First of all, in URL, this is a string which contains a URL to which request is sent, and in the data this is an optional parameter like ever before which maps a data this is sent with the request, and the callback method is succeed method in which we will show that if our method is executed and request succeeded, we will use callback. In the next slide we will discuss this from an example. So here we assume that our result.html file contains a heading with level 1 in which there is written this is result. So in code we will import our jQuery from Google CDN, and in the script type we will start this with selector hashtag driver, and on click function event it will load our HTML file. Here is the output of or this method. Whenever we will click this load data button, it will produce this output, which is the data from our result.html file. In this slide, we will discuss about jQuery.serialize method. This method serializes a set of input elements into a string of data. Here is the simple syntax to use this method, $.serialize. Interestingly, there are no parameters in this method. In this example, we have import jQuery from Google CDN, and on the button with selector on click function, we will access Debian from serialize method. Next, we will show his output. In this output, whenever we will touch this button serialize from value, it will import first name as a Muhammad Arslan and last name as Arslan. And whenever we will click from serialize from values, first name will be equal to Muhammad and the last name will be equal to Arslan. This is our jQuery.serialize method. In the last, we will discuss about jQuery get method. jQuery get method loads data from server using a get HTTP request, and interestingly, this method also returns XML HTTP request object. Here is the simple syntax to use this method: $get URL, data, callback, and type. So here is the description of the parameter that is used in this method. In URL, as earlier, contains a URL to which request is sent, and in the data, it is an optional parameter which represents key pair value that will be sent to the server. Here is a new type of parameter in this method. This optional parameter of type represents type of data to be returned to the callback function. This may be XML, HTML script or JSON or JSONP or any other text file. So here is the example of this method. Assuming that our PHP content in result.php file contains this script. If requests are in name and name request name, echo welcome and name. Here is the header and the script of this method. Let's move toward the output of this method. We can see in the output whenever we will click the load data, and it will fetch data from the result.html file or our PHP file which contains welcome Zara. So guys, thank you for watching. Goodbye. Allah Hafiz.